Hi everyone, self-proclaimed People's Princess Yu here, and today, welcome to my web show, Yu, the greatest web show on the internet. Now, even though over the course of my career, I've received many comments that have made me worry that I'm going to end up having my own true crime documentary and subsequent exploitative podcast, be that as it may, I'm still very much a flop. So I'm finally going to embrace this website's parasocial roots and do a Q&A. I've always been quite hesitant on doing a Q&A because the messages and comments I receive would have me demonetized if I read them out loud. And you may be wondering, oh, but everyone in your comment section is so nice. Don't you have a 100% female audience? And it's like, obviously I clean up the comment section so that the girls in the comments don't have to read anything, out of pocket or inappropriate. I'm also going to be doing a section about some commonly asked questions on being a YouTuber and being a content creator in general, because I don't get those as often, and obviously people watching, they might not want to be content creators, but I do get them quite often, like dozens, and I do see like kids or like people my age commenting stuff like, oh, can you please check out this video, it's been inspired by you. There's a lot of stuff about being a YouTuber or an influencer that people don't talk about that I want to talk about. So if you're one of those people who's just curious about that sort of like pathway, then stick around and I'll have a section for that at the end. I know the theme of today's video is the 2010s, and originally, right, I wanted to show you guys my copy of the Dan and Phil book. I don't know if you guys remember this. Can I be honest? I did not watch Dan and Phil when I was younger, but you know what I did? I was like really into American media, especially, of course, hit American soap opera and A-drama iCarly. But yeah, I was at the bookstore, I think in the early 2010s, and I thought, oh, Dan and Phil, they're YouTube people, I should buy their book. And it was just like an activity book that I threw away, because I thought, I don't watch Dan and Phil, why do I even have this? But I regret it now because it would have been so fun to show on YouTube. I feel like it's a very classic YouTuber thing to do an unboxing, and I already unboxed these things, but I'm really excited about them, so I want to share them with you anyways. The other day, I was shopping online, and I got my hands on Avril's first two albums, Let Go and Under My Skin. Now, I'm not a huge collector of physical media. I usually just, download all my music because I pay the subscription, right? Anyways, so here's the box. Sorry, my ring light is catching the light. These days, I think really avant-garde designs and album inclusions like photo cards are standard, right? But I think there's still a certain charm to the classic jewel case as well. This is actually the Philippines version of Let Go that comes with a bonus CD, which includes a few live and acoustic versions of song that you can't find on streaming platforms, including the live version of I'm With You, which is my favorite Avril song. The version of the disc wasn't actually that good, but oh well. Shout out to the Philippines. For some reason, you guys are my second biggest Instagram country demographic. I wonder why. I was hoping for a really cool VCD menu to show you guys, but sadly it just shoots you straight into the mini behind the scenes documentary, which to be fair is really nostalgic in an aesthetic way. I'm sorry if my rants are going on for too long, but for me, what makes someone my favorite artist isn't necessarily their look, but like the sort of like messaging and the intentionality, is that a word? The intentionist? I don't know. Of like their branding and their music. I think it's so great. Like Avril was the first person for me to think, oh my god, yes, this is it. The only person who has made me sort of like think, oh my god, yeah, this is it, for the past 3 years is actually Audrey Hobart. I'm sure you guys have already heard of her. She's way more famous than I am or will ever be, and she deserves it. And I think the people who are making fun of her and criticizing her or pointing out these like really superficial things, they're not really understanding that her image and her artistry is really rooted in the simple fact, I don't owe you palatability. I am who I am, even if it's uncomfortable, even if it's not beautiful in the way you think beauty is. And I think that's something that I do want to take into, because it's just refreshing. I really encourage you to listen to her album. By the time this video comes out, it'll probably be like a few weeks since her album came out. Yeah, so go check out Audrey Hobart. Actually, I do want to do a real Q&A one of these days, but I think maybe when or if I hit 100,000 subscribers, that'd be fun. But for now, because I want to preserve my sanity, I am only going to be choosing questions that I've been asked quite often through the course of my career. So the first question that I want to address that's quite offensive is, how old are you? Just for clarification, I'm 17 years old, and I've been 17 years old for the past 5 or 6 years, and I will continue to be 17 years old for the next 5 to 6 years. Question number 2, what do you do for work? I'm in grad school right now. I tried applying to a few jobs back when I first graduated college. Actually, I've only been to, I think, one real job interview in my life. And I'm not sure if I can say the company name because I didn't sign an NDA, but it's like a very big company. My first job interview was actually at a really big fashion house. I didn't do any fashion related degrees, but I saw a job opening for one of the big high fashion conglomerates. I can't say which one, but yeah, and it was like several rounds, and I thought, okay, this seems interesting. I don't want to work like a boring office job. I want to do something creative, maybe even if I'm not in like a fashion design team or whatever, because I don't have any design experience. Maybe this will be like more fulfilling than just like doing, you know, like something random that everyone does, like marketing or whatever. So I passed the first few like online rounds because they do like there's like group interviews and like video interviews, and they need like your like photos because it's like very judgmental. And so I passed the first few rounds for this like big firm, and I thought, oh my god, aren't I so cool? This is my first job interview, and I'm already crushing it over these like way more overqualified people. And then I got to they assigned me to one of the departments for one of their brands, and so I went to their office building. No, not office building. I went to their office, and it's like this like not glamorous place at all. You'd think, oh, a big fashion house, but no, like it's like one of their like worst departments. So they don't even have a concierge or anything. So I get there and I'm like really nervous because I'm just like sitting on this couch that's directly in front of the glass door. And so I wait like 10 minutes, and they gave me like this like random mug of water. It wasn't even like, it's just like a random worker took pity on me. And so I went inside their little like not even meeting room. It's like a conference room, and because it's like fashion or whatever, they're all dressed in all black, so I thought it was like kind of weird. And the tables were all black, and the chairs were all black, right? Okay, so I sit down, and so the table's black, right? And I get anxious pretty easily because it's my first real interview. So my palms are all sweaty, and every time I would lift my hands, they would see like the sweat, and like obviously I did the interview. I didn't get in. I didn't get in. But then after the interview, the lady, like the recruiter, she came up to me and she was like, I can tell you're the type of person who can't really do things unless there's a sense of security. And it's like, I'm like 20 years old at that point. So like, of course I'm insecure. It's like, I you know, anyways, I don't really have any plans to do fashion. I don't have any like fashion, like experience. I just applied because I thought it was interesting. So the third question is, will you ever start? Obviously, dear viewers, you're probably shocked and bewildered that I'm giving attention to this sort of inappropriate question. And there's actually a very important reason why that I'm doing this. First of all, I do want to clarify that I'm saying this without any prejudice or judgment against other people's autonomy or any industries. I do apologize if I articulate this in a way that's not it's not perfect. I'm quite disappointed with how normalized it is for a certain type of person to be entitled to commenting on these content creators' pages, which are very often young girls, and saying very predatory or just inappropriate things. And it's normalized. You see this on like TikTok or whatever. Girls don't even like delete these comments, they just leave them up. Maybe it's for engagement, maybe it's because they want to show that they don't care, or they're unbothered. But I think it's very valid to be annoyed, disappointed, and disgusted by these sorts of comments. Now, obviously, I'm a man, so I don't get this quite often compared to women, and I don't claim to understand your experience. However, I do think that it's important for someone who serves as, you know, a role model, or someone who people respect the opinion of, for me to explicitly say, I don't condone this type of behavior, I will delete it. And obviously, I'm not trying to like patronize you if you're like an adult. I'm aware that like a majority of the people watching me are like probably like at least 18 and somewhere like to like 35. The other day, I saw this video of a kid who made an homage to one of my old videos, and I looked in the description, and they were born in the 2010s, and it just made me so concerned when I saw in their comment section some stuff that I didn't like seeing. And obviously I report these sorts of comments whenever I see them on other people's pages, but I think I want to just, for the record, explicitly say to anyone who's like making content or making content inspired by me specifically, that you don't really have to put up with these things. You can delete them, and it's okay to be offended, it's okay to be annoyed, and it's okay to have a reaction, because it's just so normalized when it shouldn't be for people to be entitled and inappropriate. And this is not a judgment on people who make that choice as a worker at all. Question that people don't ask but you're probably curious about is how much I make on YouTube. And honestly, I make like basically nothing. I am monetized. For a vast majority of YouTubers, I think for US dollars, for ad revenue, you're probably only going to get like $30 or $40, like at best, if not like $20 or $10, like 10,000 views, depending on like the like demographic or the sort of niche that you're in. Also, this may be a controversial segment, so keeping in the spirit of 2010's YouTuber, I'm gonna do something kind of messy, and I wanna do a story time of my plagiarism and identity theft experience of another YouTuber when I first started YouTube. I've been holding back on talking about this because it's been so long, and I'm like, obviously I'm gonna delete all of the correspondences so that you can't know who this person is. Okay, so just let me very briefly set the scene in case you're new here, or you know, you just don't know about my like channel history, which is like completely normal for most people to do. Anyways, so I started YouTube on the 1st of January 2024, and I had 2 video releases, which is my first video and my second video, which is a vlog. And at that point, like after like 3 months, I only had like 100 subscribers. Like I didn't blow up instantly, guys. I was like a nobody, right? And I still am. Anyways, I got this comment from a YouTuber who, when I looked on the channel, they had been doing YouTube for like upwards of like 9 years, and they only had a few thousand subscribers. And they were like I don't want to say anything disparaging, but I think they're just a very stubborn type of creator where they don't really want to, you know, innovate. And so this person, they commented on my page, and they were like, oh, can we please be friends on Instagram? I would love to reach out and do a collab. And like, obviously, first of all, if I am just starting out, I want to establish my like own persona, my own character. So it didn't really sit well with me to do a collaboration. Second of all, collaborations are just code for group projects, right? And I'm the person who always does the most in group projects, as you can probably infer from how much work I put into my videos. So why would I want that? Because this sounds cocky, but I knew that I was going to outpace this person because they just, I don't know, I don't think they're a very ethical YouTuber. And so I was like politely, oh, no thank you, but good luck and have a nice day, like nothing like that. And over the next couple uploads, they, you know, kept commenting and being nice. And I didn't have an Instagram back then, so no, I didn't have like DMs with them or anything. And then around the point where I had like a few hundred to like 1,000 subscribers, so it's like still not a lot, I saw this YouTuber's video pop up in my recommendations, and it was titled like 2000 something, and then like exactly the same as the first video I ever made. And I made my first video inspired by the UI of this game called Tokimeki Memorial. I've never played that game, but it's like a visual novel on the DS that I just sort of like photo bashed and like made pixel art of the UI to scale. So it's like very specific, right? The shapes I made, because I didn't copy the UI exactly. I made it like a variant of to like fit on the YouTube screen, right? And so I go in the video, and my original video was like a daily life video, right? It was a shot for shot remake of not just every single like occurrence in that video, but the UI was exactly the same, down to like the talking George in the corner, the exact Tokimeki Memorial box, like the activity screen, and like just the content and stuff. And so I watched the whole video through, and the kicker is they didn't mention or promote me at all, the small YouTuber that they stole from. But they were like, oh, I was inspired by so-and-so YouTubers. And I was just sitting there like, so you have the bandwidth to credit like these big already famous YouTubers to get their name into your algorithm, but you wouldn't credit me for making a shot for shot, the person that you made a shot for shot remake of, who is like so much more junior than you, younger than you, who just started out. I was like wondering, oh my god, I've only been on YouTube for a few weeks and people are already so cruel and taking advantage of me. God, no, but like it's bad for me to start drama, so I just won't, address it. And this is really shocking, because as the months went on and my channel got bigger and bigger and bigger, until it was like bigger than that person's channel, I saw whenever they would come to my channel and click on their page, and they would constantly be like remaking shot for shot, like thumbnail remakes of mine. And I don't mean like, oh, you owns a certain pose. It wasn't the pose. It was like the specific elements, like the specific, I don't mean inspiration, I mean the specific elements of like the videos of mine in past. That person just literally put them on the same onto their videos, like with the same titles. And I was just like, huh? Because it's very different, like when someone is inspired by you, right? This isn't me saying, oh, you who owns everything, everyone's copying me, I'm so original, I invent everything. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is there's a big difference between like a junior who's like interested in my content and using me as like a reference, and someone who at that point was a senior and was blatantly trying to replicate the success that I had in a short span that exceeded them so quickly. And I just felt so disgusted by like that person's actions. And they kept trying to contact me and even like added me on Instagram, but like got the message after I didn't reply. I think it's very important for like you guys to know that most people on the internet, even content creators, unless you like know them really well, like they're very transparent with their character, you can't trust them, and you shouldn't like rush into collabs or like wanting to do exposure just because you think they're more famous than you, because you've got to have that like self-confidence. Now, I haven't been a YouTuber for that long. It's been like over a year and a half now, but that's not too long. But I've gotten many questions asking for advice on being a content creator that I think would be nice to just compile into the one section that I can refer you guys to. So question one is, what software do you edit on? I use a video editing app called DaVinci Resolve. It is free and there is a pro version, but so far from my experience, you don't really need the pro version unless you're actually an industry professional. How do you make the graphics and like art that you see in your videos? For pixel art, I like to use this website called pixelart.com. I can't confidently say that it's the best, but it's free and it's like fairly intuitive. There are other alternatives, so if you just like Google around or like look at the App Store, I'm sure there's something that like may suit you better. Vector graphics, that's very easy. You can use like Illustrator or like applications like GIMP or like other free vector programs to just like make shapes. And the good thing about vectors is that you can scale them up or down in any way that you'd like. And the third way is photo bashing. I take existing photos online, but I modify them to sort of put my own spin on it, because I like to have really consistent art styles, and you can't really do that if you just take other people's images without like any modification. That's why, even though it takes longer, I tend to draw stuff myself. The next piece of advice I would give that I think a lot of people just don't understand is how to stand out and be unique on YouTube. I think, obviously, I'm not immune to this, but there's a very common thing that rookie YouTubers do, is that they model themselves too closely after existing trends. Like, for example, if the current trend right now is like unboxing videos for like an iPhone or whatever, and you do your entire channel on like iPhone unboxings, what are you gonna do if like the trend shifts to like, I don't know, like ASMR, for example, like, and you already spent so much money on like iPhones? This is just like an example. Obviously, like those niches don't intersect in real life. Hypothetically, let's say that you're a new YouTuber who wants to make videos inspired by, say, myself, and you see what I did that's successful, and you want to make like a loser core video. I hate that video. And you make that video for like 50, 60 episodes, and then other people see that that you have a platform here from doing that, and you all use each other, or like myself even, for like a random like name generator type of content style where you just do that over and over again. But what if the trend shifts? What if you don't even like loser core and you're boring yourself because you're trapping yourself in that box? And that's something that I think people should keep in mind. You know, you might not like it if you only chase like consistency, and like you don't do fun, because fun is what keeps you going at the end of the day. If you're not going to be making money when you start out, so don't treat it like a job.
Thank you to Annette Moriori, Zeno, Valencito, Chihio Kinesis, Angeli, Milk Tea, Jenny, Estelle, Skylar, Angel, Andrea Day, and Simon Says. I'm always grateful that you guys are turning me on even between uploads, and of course a big thank you to all the other members, regardless of whether you signed up for a shout out or not. If you'd like my voice to echo through your halls for hundreds of hours, consider having fun as a member, where you'll get access to all my members only content, handmade badges and stickers, as well as my eternal gratitude, all starting at 99 cents or the lowest possible price in your region. That's all for now. Thank you for watching.